Planet Dolan. From a single slice of pizza to being the oldest student in class, the Planet Dolan could re-enact some of the best true stories from our subreddit. They're the dumbest things we've seen people fight over. I'm Danger Dolan, and today I'll be on the right. Number 10 was submitted by the Cloud Person. In Doopy's Spanish class, there was a girl, Andy-mations, who acted like a cat. One day, while she was working on something, Doopy heard Andy hissing. She looked over to see Andy hitting a guy with a notebook. Pissed off, the guy took a pair of scissors and cut off a big chunk of her hair. Andy stopped hitting him and watched as her hair fell to the floor. At that point, Andy got very angry and furiously hit the guy with the notebook while hissing. She kept hitting him until he was escorted out by security. When he did, Andy just sat there with a blank expression on her face. Doopy later learned that Andy was hitting the guy because he said that dogs were better than cats. Ooh, that is contentious. Number 9 was submitted by LordofKITTENZ. Honeybits was 9. She was at a local park. She was about to go down the slide to get to the swings when she decided to look first, making sure there would be a swing for her. She watched as two little kids ran towards one of the swings. The smallest one got to the swing first, but the bigger one started throwing punches, making the other one cry hysterically. Two older men, who Honeybits guessed were the fathers of the kids, ran over. Instead of separating them, they each punched one of the kids before punching each other. One of the fathers even pulled the other one's hair, which was really long. And after that, Honeybits got her parents and just went home. Number 8 was submitted by Lord Buckhead. Living in the ghetto, Melissa's seen a lot of weird stuff. One time she was asleep in bed when she woke up to screaming and gunshots. Like an idiot, she ran outside to see what was going on. It ended up being a fight over some KFC. A man wanted it for himself, but his brother also wanted some. So the man took a gun and shot his brother in the foot. All for some delicious fried chicken. Number 7 was submitted by Heck4. Ramona saw two kids fighting over who got to name the fish they won at the state fair. This one kid wanted to name the fish Toilet Bowl because he knew the fish would die quickly. The other kid wanted to name it Free Blade because of a video game he played on his iPad. When they fought, Ramona just sat there dying of laughter while they hit each other. The mom eventually stepped in and broke them up. The fish ended up dying the next day. Number 6 was submitted by XxWolfCrusherxX. Tolop and his two friends Legner and Salty Squid went to a school library one day. The library had about 50 couches and could easily fit 3 average-sized people. Suddenly, Legner jumped on the part of the couch with the armrest. That made Salty Squid, who also wanted the part with the armrest, go absolutely ballistic. They grabbed each other and started throwing punches, then whipped each other with their charger cords. The librarian came over, but Legner screamed, "Ree!" They didn't seem to realize that the couch had 2 armrests. Number 5 was submitted by IgniteCookies. One day after school, Sid went to baseball practice when he saw 2 bearded men playing frisbee on a nearby course. One was in his 50s and the other was in his 20s. In the middle of practice, Sid watched as the 2 men began to fight. The older man hit the younger man with his arm, sending him to the ground. The mother of one of Sid's teammates called the police while the older man kept kicking and punching the younger man. There were at least 5 other people standing there telling him to stop, but he wasn't stopping. Within 5 minutes, the police arrived. One of the police officers tackled the older man while the others called an ambulance for the other guy. The older man was arrested and placed in a police car. Once everything was over, Sid asked one of the people watching the fight what happened. The person said that the younger man told the older man that he had a longer beard, but the older man disagreed. That was when the younger man called him Gandalf, and the fight ensued. Number 4 was submitted by Shaney Boffiny 305. On his first day of 9th grade, Spinal Palm watched as 2 boys, Mikhailum and Gogak, began to fight at lunch. They pushed and punched each other, cursing and knocking over tables. The principal came by and broke it up. They made everyone go to class early, even though Spinal Palm wasn't done eating. While walking up the stairs to go to class, Spinal Palm asked one of the other students if he knew what the fight was about. The student said, "No, those boys are fighting over a carton of milk." Apparently Gogak took Mikhailum's milk thinking it was his. They got into an argument, then a fist fight. 2 students ended up beating each other up over a carton of milk, which was free with lunch. Number 3 was submitted by JackieCronefield. When she was in 8th grade, Pandora was sitting in class the day progress reports were being handed out. The kid sitting next to her looked over her progress report and noticed her birth date. He was shocked to find out that she was older than he was. Most students were cool with her being the oldest, even though they were still surprised. However, the kid next to Pandora wasn't having it. He literally yelled at her face saying she couldn't be older than him. Pandora's friends stood up for her, but the kid yelled at her too, saying she was also a liar. When the teacher came over, she asked Pandora what was going on. Pandora told her. The teacher gave the kid the most dumbfounded look and sent him to the office. Later, Pandora found out the reason the kid got so mad is because he always bragged about being the oldest in the grade. The kid continued to give Pandora problems until she began to get homeschooled. To this day, she's still confused about the whole thing. Number 2 was submitted by Morba Sakura. One day when she was in college, Froggy was eating her lunch while talking to a friend of hers, Mimi, about a project. Suddenly, Froggy noticed 3 guys cussing at each other. Turned out that they were fighting over the last slice of pizza from Little Caesars. One guy pinned another and the pizza fell onto the floor. The guy who had pinned the other picked up the slice of pizza and ate it despite it being on the dirty, grimy floor. Mimi looked at Froggy and asked if that guy seriously ate something that fell on the floor, and Froggy nodded. Number 1 was submitted by me. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen people fight over. Well, back in primary school, let me tell you what the most valuable commodity was. It was paper. Like if you're writing in your notebook and it gets full and you have to ask the teacher for some paper, they'll begrudgingly give you some. Sometimes they'll run out, but you know a kid who has some spare paper, like either hidden in his books or in his desk, or he knows where it is hidden in all the cabinets. A lot of times it felt like you were dealing drugs, you're like, hey man, what, you got some of that paper? You got some paper stashed away somewhere, dude? Anyway, one time I saw this kid who was real desperate. He filled up his book and he was asking around, hey guys, you got any spare paper or anything like that? And there's this one kid clearly withholding. Everyone knew this kid was like the mafia boss of paper. He always had some somewhere. What he would do is he would wait for the teacher to stash away some paper. He'd go in, take a whole bundle, not enough to be noticeable, and then hide it somewhere else in the room just in case. So anyway, these 2 kids started getting into a fight because they clearly were withholding and they needed the paper. And obviously they just didn't like each other, they just wanted an excuse to bash each other up, so they started going at it. So the teacher walks back in, what the fuck's going on? She tries to break them up. One of them kicks her in the knee. That's when shit gets real. The kids just stop. Just stop, like, oh god, what have we done? The teacher just picks them up, is like, alright, detention, you're out. So their problem was they violated the golden rule, never fuck with the teacher. It also taught us all to bring our own paper from home, just in case. Most valuable resources in school, paper and clumps of grass. You collected both of those, you were a rich man. Anyway, huge thanks to the folks out of the Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. You got a story of your own to share? What's the dumbest thing you've seen people fight over? Let us know on the Reddit page linked below and you might be featured in a future countdown. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys. That's it for this video, and have a good one!